Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. This past week in Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Mars Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph, we saw 58 homes come on the market. That is a staggering 81% increase over last week. We saw the biggest gains in Morristown and Mars Township, where we saw a 300% increase in homes on the market with 16 new homes. Chatham with 350% increase of new homes on the market at 9. And Randolph with a 400% increase in homes on the market with 15 this week. We did see a decrease in homes on the market in some of these towns, but we saw a greater increase in homes coming on the market in the towns that saw an increase. Out of these, we saw 38 of these were houses, and a staggering 20 were condos or townhouses. That's a much bigger makeup of condos and townhouses over houses than we typically see. Average list price this past week was $1.2 million. That's a 3% decrease over the prior week. The town with the highest average list price this last week was Mendham with $2,250,000. Total inventory also saw an increase this past week, a 10% increase. Now we have 262 homes actively on the market. With so many new homes coming on the market this past week relative to previous weeks, it'll be interesting to see if this number sticks. It is nice to see an increase in inventory. However, let's see if these new homes come on the market, sell quickly, or stick around for a little bit. Homes sold. We saw 25 homes sell this past week. That's a 19% increase over the prior week in homes sold. We saw Basking Ridge and Randolph with the most number of homes sell this past week. The average list price of homes sold this past week was $937,000. And we saw an average sale price of $1,043,000. So the average list and sale prices seem to be a little bit lower than in prior weeks. However, the list to sale ratio, we saw homes this past week on average sell for 12.3% above the list price. We saw not a single town where homes sold below the list price. And we saw, breaking it down by town, we saw as low as, the lowest wasn't even that low. The lowest was Bernardsville, where homes sold 4.9% above list price. And the highest was in Harding, where we had one home sell, and that sold 47% above the list price. So even though on the front lines it feels like things might be softening up a little, we're still seeing bidding wars, but not every house. Some homes seem to be sitting on the market a little bit longer and having some more negotiability. The homes that closed this past week are painting quite a different picture. Days on market, once again, the homes that sold this past week were on the market for an average of 14 days, which is a 60% decrease over the prior week. And under contract homes, we saw 27 homes go under contract this past week. The greatest number were in Basking Ridge with 9 and Morristown with 7. Total number of homes going under contract, that was a 13% decrease over the prior week. But then again, we saw less homes come on the market last week. Average list price of the homes that went under contract was $1,162,000. That's a 10% increase over the prior week. And then median days on market. The homes that went under contract were on the market for a median of 26 days, which is just a 1% increase over the prior week. So we're in a very interesting time right now in terms of the market. There seem to be some signs of softening up, at least the feel of things on the front lines. The stats don't seem to be painting that picture this week. So let's see if that's just a matter of the overall consumer sentiment not matching reality, or if that's just a lag in the stats taking effect. We also have seasonality potentially starting to come into play. End of July and most of August tends to be a slower time in the local real estate market as people focus on their summer vacations. So we will be keeping an eye out to see if that seasonality comes into effect, or if, while rare, some years we do have a lack of seasonality where the market continues to plug along consistently throughout August. So Thanks so much for checking in with me. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys again next week.